In a must-watch exchange, Bill Maher challenges CNN anchor Kaitlan over her network's blatant political bias. With sharp wit and solid facts, Maher voices what many viewers already believe. CNN no longer even pretends to be neutral. He points out the stark contrast between the network's glowing coverage of Kamala Harris and its relentless negativity toward Donald Trump. As the conversation unfolds, Collins struggles to defend CNN, but her responses fall flat. Eventually, Maher moves on, as the debate hits a wall of deflection and denial. This is a masterclass in exposing media hypocrisy. Don't miss it.
And he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight. And the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know how we get away with it with all the fucks, but they do. And all these dirty jokes. But I'm glad, and I'm a big rooter for CNN. But that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing in that arena of like, this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized. A lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both.
Kaitlan, the issue isn't just about giving airtime to opposing viewpoints, it's about how those viewpoints are treated. You don't press Democrats with tough questions, so don't claim that you do. That's what Bill Maher is really addressing. True neutrality in journalism goes beyond simply featuring guests from both parties. It lies in how stories are framed, how issues are prioritized, and how narratives are shaped. The bias isn't just in who is on the panel, it's in the reporting itself. From the tone, to the language, to the editorial choices, there's often a subtle, or sometimes blatant, slant that favors one perspective over another. Just inviting a conservative voice doesn't cancel out the underlying framing that consistently aligns with a particular agenda. If CNN genuinely wanted to create a level playing field, it wouldn't only be about who gets to speak, it would be about how those voices are questioned, challenged, and presented within the broader narrative. Too often, modern journalism allows personal opinion to seep into reporting, whether consciously or not. Instead of sticking to strict neutrality, many journalists filter facts through their own biases, shaping how audiences interpret events. A truly impartial approach would involve presenting raw facts without spin, then opening the floor to a range of voices in honest, balanced discussion. It would resist the temptation to nudge viewers toward a predetermined conclusion. In an ideal world, journalists would lay out the facts, introduce competing perspectives, and trust the audience to form their own opinions. But that's not what CNN does. Like many networks, it frames stories in ways that reinforce specific political narratives, making it harder for viewers to access truly unbiased information.
On CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think CNN puts resources behind things and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else. And I think CNN does a great job.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people on CNN. And what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. I watched Kamala's speech last night. It ended at 8:09, I guess 11:09 in the East. It wasn't until 11:23 till the one conservative guy, what's his name?
Scott Jennings.
This lonely Scott, I call him.
David Urban was there too.
Wait a second. I watched from 8:09 to 8:23, they was just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be. But if I'm a conservative in America and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road, that's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look, and when you see the path, it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC, than to have this.
Well, I don't think you can say don't think you could say it's better to have nobody there and then also lament the fact that you don't think the conservative guy, Scott Jennings, who is great, and we have him on my show all the time, spoke up early enough. I think it was a Democratic convention. They turned to Democrats, people like...
If you take a closer look at CNN's coverage of the Republican National Convention, a clear pattern emerges. Immediately after key speeches concluded, CNN analysts quickly jumped in with criticism highlighting flaws, downplaying positive moments, and framing the discussion through a negative lens. This kind of instant pushback is consistent with how the network typically approaches conservative events. It's hard for any outlet to maintain the illusion of objectivity when its bias is so visible. At this point, the most honest thing CNN could do is simply acknowledge its political leanings. That level of transparency would at least earn some respect. Take MSNBC, for example. They don't pretend to be neutral. They openly lean left, and their audience knows it. That clarity builds trust and loyalty in a way CNN's mixed messaging cannot. Now, let's look at the numbers. In 2021, CNN reached 80 million households. By December 2023, that number had dropped to 68 million, a loss of 12 million in just 2 years. That's not a small dip. It's a significant decline that reflects shifting audience perceptions. Even more telling, CNN now ranks third among major cable news networks. Trailing behind both Fox News and MSNBC, their average daily viewership has plummeted to just 580,000. 50% drop from the previous year. While it's true that cable news viewership is declining overall, CNN's drop is especially sharp. Meanwhile, independent creators and alternative media platforms are thriving. Their rise signals a growing demand for content that feels more honest, more transparent, and less filtered through corporate or political agendas. People are tired of being misled and manipulated. The legacy media model built on selective outrage and carefully curated narratives is quickly becoming outdated. CNN and similar networks are part of a fading era. It's only a matter of time before they're fully overtaken by platforms that prioritize truth, openness, and genuine dialogue.
And what explains why certain Republicans like Tucker Carlson have become so pro-Putin? Good question. What does explain that?
Your buddy. Man, I don't know. Tucker hates my guts. I mean, I think we all know that.
Well, that says a lot for you.
Yeah, you guys. I don't know how to explain Tucker. I've never met Tucker. Never even spoken with him. He just trashes me because I think it's a bad idea if Russia wins a land war in Europe. And I would remind everybody, I know this is getting serious, but I would remind everybody, if you don't stop Russia there, right, and we're spending maybe 5 to 10% of our GDP, defense spending just on supporting Ukraine so they can fight their own battles. If you didn't do that, if you never gave them any Stingers, never gave them any Javelins, you'd have a Russian army that is fully intact and also very aware that we don't defend our friends, and they'd be on the border of former NATO countries. If you want to get closer to war, that's how you get closer to war. So what do I make of some random, his opinion, who got fired from Fox News? I don't know.
That opinion, which I agree with, is out of step with your own party.
It's about half and half. I mean,
Really?
you can see it in our votes, yeah. But it's an ongoing discussion. And Trump, by the way, has never ran away from it. Trump has always said, first of all, he threatened Putin when he was in office. He said, "Look, we're going to
With what, a kiss?
In a culture like Russia's, that would be a threat." But no, he said, purportedly said, "I'm going to bomb the shit out of Moscow if you invade Ukraine." In any case, we know he didn't invade Ukraine while he was president. He increased the lethal aid to Ukraine by a lot, actually. And he's never said he's backing away from Ukraine. What he has said is it should be a loan, we should have mining rights, Europeans should pay more, all things I think we all agree with.
Okay.
Except that whole impeachment thing.
Which part? The ones that Democrats impeached him for?
Withholding aid to Ukraine.
The thing that Biden did before
Good
that.
point.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, but that's diplomacy. And Biden did the exact.
That's not diplomacy.
Biden did the exact same thing, literally to the exact same country.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
Really?
he did.
What did he do?
He was bragging about withholding aid unless they fired the prosecutor.
Corrupt prosecutor, which is what your party complains about.
That's diplomacy. So American presidents have that power to say, no, we're going to withhold aid because we don't like what you're doing. If our State Department and I'm not bashing Biden for doing that either, by the way.
But Trump was withholding aid because he wanted an investigation into Hunter
within their
Biden.
powers as the president. Sorry.
I'd love to hear what you think. Do you believe CNN is truly as unbiased as it claims? Or do you agree that their coverage leans in a particular direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's have a real conversation about media bias and the future of news. Your feedback is always welcome. and I genuinely value the different perspectives you bring to the table. If you found this breakdown insightful and want to see more content like it, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps independent creators like me continue to challenge mainstream narratives and bring fresh, honest perspectives to the discussion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.